Hey students, welcome to episode 48 of the Film Student Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Lazzeroni. My guest this week is Tyle Bivens from the Yellow Cohort. We talk about curbing gay tropes in film, how to write to a theme, and his love for the Yellow Cohort. Enjoy!
So I have been acting for a really long time, and I went to school for acting, and I was an actor, baby. I'm talking like no sketch comedy, absolutely no improv. Give me a script. I'm gonna cry on stage. It was a performance, okay? The high drama.
Yeah.
And then in high school, I started doing comedy a little bit. Still not sketch, just like comedic plays, because I'd really only ever done drama before then, or musicals. And I really liked it, but I fought it. I don't really know why I fought it, but I fought it hard. Went through college, and then I was going to go to grad school for acting. And I looked at a couple of programs. I was really interested in USC for acting, because they almost do all film.
Right.
And then DePaul. And just through some weird loopholes ended up not going, which was my mentor teacher's kind of goal for me, I think. He's really the best.
To not go?
Yeah, he was like, don't go. But he is incredible. But so then I moved to Chicago, and while I was here, I was in 1 year in 3 films where I died of AIDS. And I was like, oh, wow, we should probably make better queer media than this. Totally, we should talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's 2018, and I don't know, I think that I got really frustrated that every gay story was about a tragedy or a coming out, or was just there to be the punchline for the sassy girl. And so I wrote a web series and submitted it to a Sundance workshop festival, and I made the final round, and that was really humbling and cool.
Wow.
And it was the first thing I ever wrote, and it was just a lot happened. And then so I was like, wait, maybe I want to do something else too.
Yeah.
So it was a breakup with the actor side of myself.
But so this has been a theme at least the last couple of weeks, talking to people about learning other sides of the coin in order to get better at the fact that you had done enough acting. You had taste in what made for good writing.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I never thought about it like that.
So you had the acting part of it was the run up to starting to write.
Yeah.
Because you now have a sense for, well, I don't want to do that because that other
That's
tacky
really
thing
true.
that I read was terrible, and this is the thing that I like more, or because you're writing for yourself, right?
Yeah. I mean, always I'm always going to be in what I write. I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I think that is the actor in you wanting to perfect what you're getting, which is especially if you've got ethical or otherwise issues with the content that you're doing, of course you're going to want to make your own. Yeah, it was just 3 back to back.
Yeah.
Just AIDS. And I died in all of them.
What was the web series?
It's called Ordinary. It's not been produced. And looking back on it now, it was it's always going to have a little home in my heart, but in a weird way I'm happy it wasn't produced. Maybe one day I'll go back to it. But
what's the premise? Since you've been pitching all term, I'm going to go ahead and make you pitch your web series.
All right. Well, basically, this boy, it's shocking. It's really strange. Get ready. This boy from Oklahoma moves to Chicago to be an actor. And he realizes that maybe he just wants to be an ordinary person and just get a job, because trying to do what he does is not working.
Okay.
And he has felt special, and he doesn't anymore. And so he's trying to just be a little businessman with a business suit and some business hair and a business job and a 401k and maybe some insurance. Who knows? We can get spicy here.
So it's a almost the reverse story of the star, A Star Is Born type.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it kind of goes into maybe what is being normal and why, in a way, why it is so attractive, but also why you don't want to be it. Not don't want to be it, but why it's okay to not be.
You're romanticizing normality.
Yeah,
basically.
Because I mean, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes I do, where I'm oh, I wish I was going to just leave school and be oh, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
There's something really obviously stable about that, but I think that in like the opposite vein, for me, I'm really excited to have to like make my journey through,
right?
Which you don't really get to do in like a normal businessman suit, business hair, briefcase kind of job.
You're obsessed with the hair, and
hair is a big deal. Like, because it's just like always like really gelled. You know what I mean? And my hair is just too big to do that. So maybe that's
that
really
one
what
haircut that every guy has now.
Yeah, we're not gonna get it.
Short on the sides, long on the top, nice hard part down one side. Yeah.
Okay, don't judge me, but I kind of have that haircut.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that haircut that every guy.
But I don't gel it down. I want it to be big up to Jesus. You know what I mean?
You're
touching
going for
the
clouds. You ever watched Adam Ruins Everything?
No, but I should.
It's Adam Conover has that sort of hair. Like he's got it. It's up a good like 4 inches.
I'm
talking
talking like tan France. Do you know what I mean? Like Queer Eye. I want it to be that big, but I don't have. It gets big, but mostly it's just like a lot of dry shampoo and desperation. That's really what happens for me.
So what's so far? So you just completed term 1 here. What have you gotten out of the program so far?
Oh, so much. It's weird. They like you start and they're like, girl, it's going to change your life. And you're like, oh yes, it is. And then like everyone starts. And for a while, my cohort was like, who's the funniest? You know what I mean? Like everybody's like bit on bit on bit on bit.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure everyone, I mean, it's a comedy school. So I'm sure everyone has that kind of moment. But kind of whenever that started to settle and we were all just like sitting and learning together, as like cheesy as it sounds, I think that's a big thing that I've learned is like how, I mean, I could go on and on about the like content that we're learning and like the instructors and like, I mean, we can shout out all of them. Like I've only had the term 1 teachers, but literally all of them have been perfection, like so great and so different and so willing to teach us each individually and like very uniquely and like to our voice and like our style. It's been incredible. But I do think one thing that's like really special that they told me was going to happen that I wasn't all the way aware was actually going to happen is like how important it is to be here with the people you're here with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's something very special about like ensemble learning in general. And I think with acting, like with like primarily that's what I've learned. It's all very focused on you unless you're in a play. And even then it's kind of, I mean, it's ensemble for sure if you're doing like viewpoints or whatever, but a lot of times it's like, how are you affecting whatever, or you know what I mean, or like try to like give your partner something, but it just feels like much smaller. But in the school, it's so like, I mean, ensemble driven, which again, I know they talk about so much, and I don't know why that was like the big thing that I was like, oh shit, they didn't. Can I say shit?
Yeah.
Okay. That they weren't lying. Fuck yeah, we can. Hell yeah, sis. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the people I'm learning with are really helping me understand it all. But I think the school does a great job of building empathy with like what you're writing and like what you're producing through like the stories you're telling. I think that's something that like really means a lot to me. It's like it's really hard for us to talk about like negative things in stories. I mean, we like know we have to have them and everything, but I think that they've done a really great job of like creating like full realized characters and everything we talk about. I rambled for a while, but
no, that's
I
fine.
like it here.
And what kind of stuff are you trying to create? Like what's your long-term goal through this?
So definitely touch on it a little bit, like just like queer media. Like I just want there to be a show that's about just people who are living who like are gay, but it's not about anything. Like it's not about an epidemic, or it's not about this like coming out story. Like totally like there's like heartbreak in there because like there's heartbreak in like gay relationships, or like, you know what I mean? There's like confusion in there.
Yeah.
But like that the only thing that is gay about it or queer about it is like the people. Like, you know, the people in it happen to be queer, but it's like an everyday story.
Right.
As problematic as this show was, Girls was like really what kind of like made me think bigger. And I think it was just the first time I saw someone talk the way I talk on TV.
Yeah.
So I came in thinking like film. I don't know. I came in thinking TV, but now maybe I've shifted a little bit, and maybe this is the first time I'm realizing it right here with you, Tony Lazzeroni.
It's. I think TV in general has changed.
Yeah.
Because I think so. It used to be like film was like the big you know big topic. And so people would go through TV and try and work towards getting to film. And TV was shorter contract and smaller deals and smaller actors, and you're always trying to move up to work in film. But now it's kind of half flipped because there's still TV and there's still basic cable and there's still network television. But we're seeing more actors that are going from like film back to network television and doing stuff there. Because the paychecks, I think, are more consistent than what you can get in the film in film nowadays. And the other one is that we're seeing stuff like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon that are doing. They're still shows, but they're such a longer narrative. Like the story arc of something like a, of a Stranger Things,
right,
is something that you're not gonna see on. You're never gonna see it on network TV.
Absolutely.
I mean, like the closest you're gonna get is something like Lost or something along those lines, which, it's not the same thing. You're never gonna see a comedy done that way.
No,
you'll never see like a Kimmy Schmidt. I think done
that's
that
really
same
true.
way on network TV.
Yeah.
It's only going to be something for digital, and so it's almost like you have three layers of story that you can go for. Super short form sitcom-y, like things need to be wrapped up in 27 minutes or 23 minutes if you're doing commercials, and then you've got your feature film for your 90-minute, and then you have your 8 to 12 hour story arc that you can do with one of these like anthology type TV series on Netflix or Hulu or one of those. So it's I feel like that's
flipped.
Really
true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think that I think maybe I started with TV because I thought of it as almost like the longest form.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Like I was like, oh my gosh, I get to tell the story for
26 seasons.
Yeah.
You're doing the new Simpsons.
I'm like, yes, here we go. Yeah. But thinking about it like that makes a lot of sense too. So maybe, you know what I maybe want to do is just make some shit that means a lot to me, that hopefully can mean something to someone else, and ideally not have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Just make some shit.
Yeah.
You know? Because I don't know. I think that's like one of my struggles right now is like my pie in the sky is being able to write and direct something I star in. Do you know what I mean? But whenever we're here, they definitely don't make you choose by any means. Do you know what I mean? Right. But I think that the further we go through the program, the more evident it is, like, kind of who is doing what.
Right.
And I think that, like, for me, it's still a little cloudy.
As far as what story role do I want to play in the long run?
Yeah. So I think that, like, that kind of goes back to being, like, with, like, TV or film. I think I just want to do it all, which is a problem. So maybe I'll figure it out one day.
I mean, the best thing I can suggest to do is try like isolating. Try a project where you just direct. Try a project, and somebody else writes and somebody else acts. Try something where you just act. Try something where you just write it, and hand it off to somebody else. Like, find those ways of siloing things just to have the experience of what it was like to do just that thing.
Yeah.
And you might find that you really love doing one of those things, because that was what my experience was. I came in and I'd only ever directed stuff. I'd never written it. I'd never acted it. I mean, acted minorly and stuff, but and I'd never really done any other technical role on a set.
You've never done anything technical?
Well, no, I'd never done any other technical role. I'd learned how to do all of it, and so I kind of like you.
I
came in. I was
doing
10 things as opposed to just one, and so I came in here and I was like, I'm just gonna do some projects where I just do one thing, and bring in other people to do the rest, and it freed me up. It made me fall in love with directing stuff all over again, because I now had the ability to spend time and thought process on all those little touches of things in a film that are subliminal messaging. The things that you don't think about being present, but make a difference in how you tell a visual story, or how characters go through emotional arcs or things like that. Like it was great to just kind of get all the other crap out of the way, find other people that could do it and let them do it.
It's so weird. I feel like torn because like I love the creation of script writing. Like I love like being like, okay, here's the world. Sis, we're gonna dive in here. Here's some drama, all that. I love that. But I really do love directing. Like I love like the like very like the like minor like subtle moments, and like figuring out like how we can play in this moment, or like how we can earn that pause, and like why that pause is so important, or like how can we fight without it sounding like an argument, or how can we and so I think you're right though. I think maybe trying to find ways to just direct someone else's work for a minute or just write for someone else will help me out.
Mm-hmm.
This term I did weird shit with my films because like the way I write is so like just like two people talking.
Yeah.
So I did some weird stuff with my films this term, and I was really trying to experiment, and it did not necessarily turn out the way I wanted it to.
All right. Give me an example. How so?
Well,
I'm going to make you relive trauma for our entertainment.
Well, the first one was our good old comedic documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And I had
what was yours?
So mine was called Queen, and I was going to make my boyfriend be a drag queen for the first time.
Okay.
But I wanted it to be like super isolated, like no, like not that I didn't want there to be stakes. So I didn't want it to be about this like boy realizing that maybe all along he just wanted to wear heels. I wanted it to just be like this like moment, just like if you were going to play baseball, just being like, I'm gonna do this like weird thing.
Yeah.
And I wrote it, or I didn't write it. I mean, I kind of like outlined it or whatever, you know. And I did like weird shit with like lights and like everything. And then I like had it, and like for a minute I was like, oh, are you a little filmmaker, Tyle? I had no idea, girl. This is a stunning masterpiece. And then I took it to class, and everyone was like, well, yeah, I mean, like, it's like cute, but like, why is he doing this? Like, what is it for? Like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, like you don't get to just like make a little thing. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It should be something.
There's I think the like the improv classes and stuff help out with that. Mm-hmm. Like you need to establish who, what, where. Because anytime you're reading a script or an outline, or especially if you're the one creating it, you know more of the story than what the audience is seeing.
Well, in my head too, I guess I just didn't want it to be a story. Like I know it sounds so silly, but like I was like, oh no, it's not. But I think it goes from like working with stories so much. Like I was just like as like with like acting or whatever, like I just wanted it to be like this like weird like moment in time. And then I was like, oh no, like that doesn't get to happen. So then I understood, but I learned. But really I was like, I'm gonna play with lights and like do weird things with this because I like for what I actually want to make, probably don't get to do that very often. So then for my adaptation, sis, I don't know why, but I thought I was a rapper this term. Okay. So whenever like Dick B came, I thought we had 10 minutes to write a sketch. Dick Bilsucci.
Dick B.
Listen, don't put this in, but I forgot how to say his last name and I didn't want to say it wrong. Dick Bilsucci came in. I thought we had 10 minutes to make a sketch. I wrote this rap about this mom like trying to figure out if her son was gay, but like she was okay with it, but she just didn't know how to ask. So I wrote that, and I don't know why. Like I just wrote like mini raps this term, which was so weird. I've never done that. But so my adaptation was a rap about these people trying to make friends, but like why they can't. And so like they like made this rap video to like send out to like the cool kids at school to like try to get their friends, try to get to be their friends. But I went through like 4 different casts and like 5 different locations, and then ended up being like, okay, we have 4 hours to shoot it tonight.
Yeah.
We're doing it at Second City on a stage and just go. So that one I learned a lot about just being like, you got to have plans. Like it just doesn't work out ever. But same thing. I was trying to do like weird production things. And I think visually maybe that one worked a little bit more, but it was still just like a wah, wah.
Did you see Sarah Amar's term 3 from last term?
So Emily is in my cohort. Emily Daniels.
Yep, yeah.
And they're good friends. And so she was like, you should watch this like after I did everything. And I was like, yeah, this is brilliant, beautiful, wonderful, stunning. Like such a great thing. And mine looked like a 3rd grade like craft project. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, it's there. Like that is a rocket ship technically.
She'd done it twice by that. I mean, because she did for her term 2, also did the preceding rap that she'd put together. The plus side is she's done voice acting forever, so she knows how to use the recording equipment and so she had a good music mix and everything balanced nicely, which always helps to sell the video that much more. But yeah, she's the only one that I know of that did a rap like that. Will did a music video this term.
I need to see these videos. I had work, so I couldn't count.
Ask Dale.
Okay.
Dale keeps a catalog of all of them. Either that, or you can ask Tim, and Tim can give you the DVD, and you can
Cute. Okay.
You can do a screening. I think they require you to keep it in the building.
Yeah.
And do anything, so.
Also, just really quick shout out to Lucas from my cohort because he made the beat for my rap video, and it was by far the best thing that was involved in the video. So, but yeah.
So, what's who are your people? Like, what are the influences that you're bringing to the table when you're coming to create something?
Okay, so I talked a little bit about like girls, but not necessarily Lena Dunham, but just like what that was a little bit. But I like love Issa Rae. Love Issa Rae. I'm trying to think of like big people. Oh, Jenny Slate is huge for me.
Okay.
And Jenny Slate works a lot with like Gillian Robespierre. I think she directed both Obvious Child and Landline.
Okay. I know Obvious Child. That one was great.
It was so good. Landline's really great too. You should watch it. I don't know. I think that like I'm really inspired by just like women getting to just be like girls. Do you know what I mean? Like getting to like be themselves and like not having to be anything. I think I don't really connect a lot with like a lot of film before. I mean, I connect with like Mae West, which was like an early, like, I don't, like little kid being like, she is sassy and I freaking love it.
Yeah.
To like, then like to like now media. There's like a huge gap where I'm like, I get what's happening, at least like popular like movies and like TV shows.
Yeah.
I get what's happening, but like I don't like see myself in it. And then it was like seeing these other people, like whenever we allowed like women to be like messy again, that I was like, oh, I feel like I have a place again. Because I think I relate a lot more right now, at least, to like women getting too messy than like gay men, because we still have an issue with like gay men getting to just be on TV, I think.
Yeah.
So usually it's like the like flawed, like sad girl, and I'm like, there I am.
Have you seen The Birdcage?
Oh yes, I mean, come on, yeah, Birdcage, huge. Nathan Lane in The Birdcage.
Because I was gonna say, I don't know if you've seen this theme, but taking a step back and just listening to what you said, it seems like your voice seems to be like seeking normal, like pursuing normal or normality.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean,
okay.
like you're talking about now.
Yeah, like a prophet.
Well, no, it's just listening to. I mean, anybody that's listening to this probably has picked up on that. But it's one of those things that when you're in it, you don't necessarily see that trend.
Super true.
But it seems to be like you're going towards like seeking normalcy, and that's a movie that I feel like does that. It actually makes that world normal, and then is confronted with a world that doesn't think that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting too. Like next term you're going to watch, actually, or no, did you watch La Cage aux Folles? Was that this term?
I've seen the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because La Cage aux Folles, the original French version, that one is confronted with it in a different way. But the American version, it was, they treat it as a normal world, where abnormal world, like, quote unquote, classic normal world comes in and has to, and they bend for that. And so and eventually just kind of realizes that nope, the real normal's the real normal.
Yeah. So interesting.
And so I feel like that's a story that would hit.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. No, that I love like Birdcage. I've seen the other one as I think I saw the other one as maybe an opera or something.
Okay.
La Cage aux Folles, right? Maybe.
I'm not sure. It's been around. That was in the, what was that? 80s, 70s?
I could be lying 100% for sure too. I'm a liar. But I don't know.
Or you just didn't remember it the way because not everybody has a perfect memory.
That's true. That's probably more of it.
Perfectly forgivable.
But yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. Yeah. Like just like I feel like there's like this weird thing that I try to do with everyone, and maybe I think you've unlocked a little something right here. But like I really do just want everyone to feel like good and like okay and like valued with like exactly what they are. And so I think that that's probably what I'm trying to do a little bit through creating, to just be like, girl, we're just gay. Also like being from the South, I think is a different, like puts a whole nother little spin on that. Yeah,
there's a whole nother layer on top of that.
Yeah.
No, I lived in Oklahoma and North Carolina, so I've seen all sorts of South.
All kinds of South.
Yeah, mixed with Midwest. Lived in Minnesota for a while.
Okay.
Lived here, DC.
Yeah,
right on the line.
You've been everywhere.
Way too many places.
Jet setter.
Not jet setting. It was more like Dodge Caravan setting.
Okay, that's a cute little like road trip though. That's a film. That's what they would say here. That is a film. Right?
My feature is
that
a mostly like road trip feature. Like it's weird combination of like a rom-com, a buddy film, and like a road movie.
That's like exactly what I want to watch.
So
yeah, that's it.
Now I just got to make it. That's the other thing.
Okay, we'll make it.
Step one, produce the thing. Step 2, sell the thing.
We'll get it done.
But so what are you looking forward to through the rest of this? So you've now got 2 terms in front of you and no other class in front of you.
I know, it's so weird.
Yellow, you are now the upperclassman, the only upperclassman in the building. You got a whole new cohort coming in.
We're gonna miss you guys. We've talked about it a lot. Really, both of your cohorts have been like incredible to like learn with and from and be around. So
you won't miss us. Most of us are still going to be around.
Okay, well, please be here all the time.
And you need to. Have you met many of the orange and red people?
So I'm good friends with Liz Fitzgerald.
Okay,
which is a big reason why I ended up applying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Former guest on the show, Liz Fitzgerald.
Yes, former guest. She was up here editing her final film whenever you did it. Yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the podcast. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think that, I mean, like for me specifically, like I said, I was really experimenting with some things this term.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to really work and focus on the things that I really want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that from what I hear of like Dale and John Hancock, that they're really going to help like really with like this fine tuning and like the specifics of everything. And I also feel, I don't know, I'm just excited to, I feel like we have a good base now, kind of, you know. I think that we like understand like where we are. Like it's not like Hogwarts anymore. It's like where we really are. And so I'm excited to like jump from there a little bit. I think that we all like as a cohort have really kind of figured out like our voice and our like point of view. I mean, not really figured out, but have a better understanding of who we are as creators. So I'm excited to kind of see everyone sort of bloom.
Start to come to fruition of their own general style.
It's so
approach.
Cute. Yeah, it's so good. I'm so excited. So yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited for. But I'm really excited again because I can't decide for like my like final like feature or pilot. It's a feature right now, but who knows if I'll change it. And like my 10-minute short.
Okay.
Which all of my things end up being about like weird, like awkward sexual encounters. So right now, both of mine are about that. So it's kind of a theme for me, I guess.
Is it the same story and one's like a proof of concept for the other? Or no?
So
just
my feature is about this boy named Breck and his best friend Tristan. And they've been best friends forever, okay? And Breck is gay and Tristan is straight. But it's like 2018 and sexuality is really fluid. So one night, Tristan comes home. He broke up with his girlfriend and lines kind of get blurred and like love kind of becomes confusing and they hook up. And then Breck wakes up being like, oh shit, this is really confusing for me now because someone that I love as a human and is so easy to fall in love with and I have had sex. And Tristan's like, girl, I'm straight. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, like I understand. Like I'm so sorry. But like, that's just kind of what happened. And so it's like Breck trying to figure out like what that means. And, if he wants to just stay one of the boys or if he's going to risk it all for one more kiss. And then the other one is about this couple who've been together for a long time and one wants to have a threesome and the other one's like, okay, I'll do it for you, but here are the rules. Don't touch him at all. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That one, I'm interested to see what you guys do for your term 3.
Yeah,
because I feel like that you're gonna have a little range of voices.
Yes, we will. Yeah, I bet you some of them are gonna be on Mars. We're gonna have some like space things, I'm sure, some demonic things, and then just some like walking dogs. Like we have a big, like we really run the gamut, girl, with who and where and what we want to say. So it's gonna be interesting.
We had space. That was Mike Kolar's. We had chasing a dog that ran away with Robbie Justices. Okay. And what was the other thing you said? You said Mars.
I said space,
demonic.
Mars,
demonic. We definitely had Eric Freddy's insanity.
Yeah.
For his
It really is so cool. Like, and I'm sure like you felt this too, but like where in my head, like I didn't realize how many different. This is going to sound so dumb. I'm sounding so dumb, but I don't care. How many different voices like can come from like my same generation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we read things and like whenever I like brought my first thing, I was like, girl, everyone's going to sound just like this. Like, it's okay. Like, you know, we'll find that thing that makes you special later, Tyle, but just give them this. And then it was like, oh, no. Like, this boy's over here talking about Nerf guns. This boy over here is talking about, like, a secret society in Naperville. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, just like, we like really ran the whole thing, and like no ones are the same. And it was like so fascinating to me that I was like, holy shit, we've all taken this one class, and like it just really shows like how strong like your point of view is whenever you like kind of sit into it.
Have you ever seen Everything is a Remix?
No, I've never seen anything. I'm
so
the worst film student.
This isn't necessarily film specific. So there's a series on, I don't know if it's on YouTube or Vimeo. If you look it up, you can probably find it. This guy Kirby Ferguson, greatest name.
That's a good name.
Yeah, he produced this documentary series about how nothing in pop culture is 100% new, generated from scratch. That it's all remixed from things in our cultural history. And I feel like that applies here because, you know, you're a creator within your generation. You have the tool set that you have that is consistent across everybody, but you have such different background experiences that get filtered into you, and that forces you through kind of whatever your experiences in life, not just the pop culture. It all coalesces, and that's where your voice comes from.
The person that I worked with Ordinary, whenever we were like submitting it for the workshop, her husband has worked with Sundance in the past, and like it's just like he's really great. But whenever we were doing my interview portion, I was like, girl, I don't know, like I feel so stupid. Like this is the show that is on every channel, like all the time. Like there's nothing like unique about it. Like I feel like I was like, this is so dumb. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And he said something that was like really interesting to me, where he was like, you know, I mean, we've talked about it here at school too, but basically he was just like, something about it has to be universal. And like, that's why these stories are told. You know what I mean? And so every year there's someone looking for this story. So it's okay that the story has already been told because you haven't told it yet. And that's what makes it different. So you don't have to worry about the like base of your story being this like most unique, like crazy idea. Like those work too. But if yours isn't that, that's okay, because it's going to be different because it's like through your lens and like the way you say it. And I was like, oh, okay.
I can't remember who was just talking about it recently, but they were talking about when they're, I think it was maybe one of the conference calls that we had with somebody out in LA. But they were talking about when they're writing, they will take the theme of whatever their story is, and they'll determine that early on, and they'll literally tape it across the top of their computer.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so
cute.
That if they ever forget, if they're ever writing a scene and they're starting to kind of feel like they're losing sense of the theme, like they can just look up and see that theme. And I feel like that's the difference between somebody who's just kind of aimlessly writing a story and somebody who knows the story that they're trying to tell, is that you have that theme filter that you can put up there. And I'll say I feel like I would have to go back take a step back to see the theme for my own feature. I don't know that I could tell you, but from what I can understand of other people, they've been able to look at it and pick it out pretty clean.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure like the same thing. You were just like, your whole life is about being normal. And I was like, what? So I'm sure like if I even heard a little bit of yours, I'm like, oh girl, it's about, you know, tires. It's a road trip. I'm just kidding. It's not about tires, but you know what I mean? Okay, quick question for you. So Kat talks about how there are like two types of writers.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that like, it is planned and you know exactly where you're going. And they're the ones that kind of just like get on the computer and go a little bit. Which one are you?
Little column A, little column B. Okay. I like to have the outline so that I know where I'm going, but then I like to kind of improv within the scene, and I'll make discoveries in those scenes that then come back later. And actually what I discovered with mine, and I think a good move for me, first time I ever completed a feature doing this one here, I just wrote all the way through, as opposed to in the past, whenever I've gotten like another idea here that I was like, oh, I have to go back and change it in scene 2 to set that up to have that work pay off there. I just wrote straight through. And when I had that stuff, I wrote it in, but I wrote it in knowing it's broken until I go back and fix it when I'm done. So that there was something to go back and edit. But That way I got through the story and I have a draft.
Yeah.
And my first draft makes no sense because there's things that pick up and drop and don't go anywhere. But then I was getting feedback on that and saying, oh, well, I want to see more of this earlier. And I'm like, I have that planned. I just haven't gone back and done it.
Yeah.
And I'm able to just go in and kind of reiterate and make those tweaks. And without doing a whole lot of work, my second draft makes 90% more sense than the first draft did. But so yeah, it's kind of 50-50 on that.
Tony, do you know how like what a big deal it is that you wrote a movie?
Oh yeah.
Like that's huge. Like you just wrote a movie, you sat down, you wrote a movie, and then you made like a gorgeous like film that you showed everyone. Everyone I talked to said it was great. Like,
thank you.
Just letting you know. Like everyone was like, it was so good. I feel like I know that you had a lot of experience before this, but like I don't know, I feel like the stuff you're doing is really, really, really cool. And I hope you have time to like celebrate yourself with it.
I will.
Okay.
It's like it's always I'm trying to swing to that next thing. You know.
I have that problem too, where like I am like still on this rope, but I'm like really worried about like the 4 ropes ahead of me.
Yeah.
Like that's my big problem is like I'm so worried about that 4th rope that sometimes I'm like I'm just gonna stay on this rope for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But sometimes you gotta just know
there was a TED Talk, and it wasn't necessarily about this subject, but it was very much like, you know, there's no rest for the weary. It's what was the line? It was, if you're a superhero, you know, after you save the world, you have only enough time to iron your cape, and then it's back to the skies for you.
Yeah,
like
that's very true.
It's you have to keep it going.
I just want to make sure you ironed your cape. That's what I'm saying. I don't expect you to go take a trip to Mexico, but I just want to make sure you took a little moment to be like, I did something really cool.
Oh yeah, no, okay. I did.
Good.
I had my little Facebook post that was like, I finished a first feature, and I printed the first draft.
Good.
I have a print off in a binder of the first draft of a feature that I've ever written, and it's god awful.
But that's okay.
But it's, you know, but second draft looks a lot better. Yeah. Third draft will look even better. Fourth draft, you know.
It was a baby. And all babies suck. They don't do anything. You know what I mean? So just do your first baby.
It's amazing too that just having
all babies don't suck. Sorry. Sometimes I forget we're recording.
Okay. The fact that I've got something like now I can start building towards making that.
Yeah.
Like even though the script is not done, I have a total story arc. I can do things like figure out budgeting. I can figure out what actors I would need to fill out those roles. I could start trying to connect with people for that. You know, there's
steps now.
Yeah. And even though I'm going to keep on working on the script, like it's infinitely further along than if I didn't have the script to start with.
And like, how many times are you on set and they change the script? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the script is always evolving anyway. You know, so like I feel like the
actors that you bring in are going to have some input on it.
Yeah.
You know, they say you write the film 3 times. You're going to write it in the writer's room. You're going to write it on while you're shooting it, and you're going to write it in the editing room. Yeah. And so, you know, you have to be prepared for that. Yeah. But you got to get the first one out.
I'm just stoked for you. I don't know. I'm stoked for all of you, but I think you just work so hard.
I'm excited for you because I think your networking ability is miles beyond what I've seen from many other people that have come through these doors.
That is so nice of you.
You're busy bee. Like I can always count on seeing Tyle, talking to somebody new, approaching that person that he hasn't talked to before, that you're always trying to make some sort of connection. And I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier about trying to make everybody feel, you know, accepted and equal and a part of it and everything like that. Like you're very good at that. And I think that will serve you well in this industry where you have to want to work with the people that you're working with.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that like, especially here, like, showing the things that you made, even if it's like a silly sketch, is like super vulnerable. You know, like you're telling them like your audience or your classmates or whatever, like I think this is funny or I made this or like whatever, you know. And so I think that like if you're already feeling very like self-conscious or if you don't feel like you belong or you don't feel important, then like it's so much more vulnerable, and I don't feel like you're actually showing what you want to show.
Right.
So I think it's important that everyone just feels like really happy and like accepted and celebrated, so we can all be vulnerable together and we can show the things we actually want to show, so we're actually growing while we're here instead of like, you know, just showing what we think the other people are going to like.
Yeah. Not just playing to your audience, playing to what you have to say.
Yeah. That's why like we've talked about it before too, where like sometimes like I will have someone read something and like knowing like you're not going to watch the show. Do you know what I mean? Like this is not your show. And that's okay though, you know, because I didn't write it necessarily for you, but like I need to know like what your viewer demographic would think of this,
right.
or like, you know, like what your voice thinks of this, or how you see this.
Well, the same thing, all the content that you have in your past that plays into, it's going to play into how you review something else too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're going to look for specific things.
Yeah, finding those people who are almost like the opposite, do like almost the opposite thing of you. I think I've learned a lot from. I've learned so much from everyone in my cohort, but I think specifically those types of people I've learned so much from. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, wrap it up here.
Wrap it up like a Christmas gift.
Yep.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Yeah. Well, and your episode's going up on New Year's Eve. So
yes, be a little tipsy.
People if people want to track you down on social media, see the stuff that you're doing, see any videos that you've been brave enough to post to public spaces.
Well,
where can they find you?
So listen, y'all. Just like everything, I'm a work in progress. So right now, if you want to follow me at tbivz, TBIVZZ on Instagram, that'd be so cute. And I'll follow you back. Working on the website, but I'll link my website there, and that'll have all my stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Where can they follow you, Tony?
Mine goes in the credits of the show.
Deal.
At Film Student Pod.
Okay.
Pretty much everywhere.
Cool. Well, thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it. Learn more about you. Yeah. Bye.
And that was Tyle Bivens. Thank you to Tyle and to the Harold Ramis Film School and the Second City staff for their help. The song on this week's episode was Check In by Piff Tannen. Find more of Piff's music on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Piff-Tannen. This show is recorded and edited by me, Tony Lazzeroni. If you want to hear more from me and my classmates, teachers, and a few special guests, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. If you have questions or comments, send us an email at filmstudentpod@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Instagram at filmstudentpod. And be sure to also check out some of my and my classmates' work at filmstudentpod.com, where you can also find links to all of our past episodes. See you all next week. Class dismissed. Around the world to bring y'all back into my zone too.